So, y'all, a whole lot is happening with the Republican Party as we speak. The Heritage Foundation is going through a whole lot because, you know, their president sort of defended Tucker Carlson's interview with white supremacist, racist, Nazi lover Nick Fuentes. Now, that same Nick Fuentes has a mixed ethnic background, including Mexican, Italian, Irish. He literally has said some absolutely wildish, outlandish, racist stuff, and he's got millions following him, and they love him. This is what he said on March 28th.
You say that everybody kind of realizes women need to be taken down a peg. Women are in control. Women are running our lives. They're clearly not up to the task. They need to be taken down a peg. And equally, just like the obfuscation with Jews, you have all these people saying, no, that's not the problem. The problem is modern women. They say it's all these degenerate modern women. You need to find yourself a good girl who's traditional and Christian and conservative. It's like they're telling us what to do, too. They're talking way too much, too. Half the time when you go on Twitter and you have some stupid bitch wagging her finger in your face, she's a Christian. She's got a Proverbs in bio. She's got a Bible verse in her bio. People say, no, it's just those degenerate, modern, left-wing, blue-haired feminist girls. I want a good trad Christian girl. Half the time it's the girls with the Bible verses in the bio that are the problem. So they're always coming up with, no, it's not the Jews. No, it's not women. No, it's not blacks. It's actually really complicated. No, it fucking isn't at all. Jews are running society. Women need to shut the fuck up. Blacks need to be imprisoned for the most part. And we would live in paradise. It's that simple. It's literally that simple. Anyway, that's the big picture. You know, that's your macro level, 30,000.
All right, we're not done. Check this out.
Women don't support me. Women are irrational and sensitive. It's just like my whole life. Because I was always like the class clown. I was always like bullying women. And women have always been like simultaneously charmed, but also like, oh, stop it. Oh, you're so annoying. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. That's how women are with like my personality type, where you're like a rascal, you know, you're like a bastard. And they're kind of like, because I'm like a rule breaker and stuff. And so women simultaneously are intrigued by that, but they also have to pretend like they're not, because women, it's sort of like how a lot of women want to be raped. And when I say raped, I mean like, that sounds bad when I say it like that. But there's like a lot of women that really want a guy to beat the shit out of them.
Yeah, now, mind you, this is the guy Tucker Carlson interviewed. And Tucker Carlson sat down for a conversation with Megyn Kelly. It was like yesterday. And he actually defended the sit down, and he said he doesn't care if he gets criticized, all that sort of stuff. He said, hey, you know, I want to sit here, and I'm interested in hearing people actually think. Listen.
Is not only being challenged in our country, it's being disregarded. It's disregarded in DEI. It's disregarded in affirmative action. Identity politics is a refutation of that idea. We are awarding some people something because of how they were born and hurting others for the same reason. That is anti-Western.
So the Heritage Foundation CEO said that, you know, Nick Fuentes should be a part of the conservative movement. Boy, they've had folks resign, staffers are all pissed off. Here's the thing here, Candace, that let's just be honest. Nick Fuentes and his following, his millions of followers, just like Charlie Kirk's millions of followers, that's the Republican Party. That's their voters. They need those racist, angry white men. That's the Richard Spencers of the world. That's the Stephen Millers of the world. That's literally their Party. So the fact that the Heritage Foundation CEO said, yeah, we need Nick Fuentes as a part of the conservative movement, he's saying we need those young racist bastards.
You know, there's so much to say, but yet I want to say so little because that actually gives him more of a platform. And listen, this is someone who hasn't even been on Fox. So the fact that Tucker Carlson had him, and the fact that Tucker was removed from Fox, we know that he too is trying to get the numbers. He too is trying to get people who are voting for him in a sense, because they want to see him continue and be successful. But, you know, Nick Fuentes reminds me of, you know, let me not contextualize it too much, but I know folks who are like him, and that, you know, when you talk about money so much, it means you don't have money. When you talk about girls that much, it means that you don't have a girl. So the fact that he is talking about not, you know, empowering women and talking about women wanting to be raped, he's talking about the fact that they have the power to say no because they've probably been saying no to him his whole life. And that's the problem in and about this. So instead of doing a lot of self-reflecting, what he does is he goes online and he gets other alienated men mostly in order to agree with him so that they have something to talk about, because they can't talk about what they really want to talk about, which is that, you know, Roland, these type of guys, they really want a girlfriend. And they've never really had one. And I know that's very simplistic, but at the end of the day,
right,
you speak to a lot of men in this age group, that's what they want. So the fact that, you know, we're even talking about it, yes, it's the news, but I hate doing it.
No. The reason I think we have to talk about it, because, again, Michael, just listen to some of this. This is literally Megyn Kelly and Tucker Carlson essentially saying that, you know, Fuentes, he ain't so bad.
The main criticism, as I understand it, has been, well, yes, platforming. They say that. I don't accept platforming as a valid objection.
What is that a verb, by the way? You take a noun and you make it into a verb and nobody says anything? As a former editor, I say no.
Yeah, agreed. Okay. Honestly, but like, as far as I know, Nick Fuentes hasn't eaten anyone. You know, I mean, Jeffrey Dahmer ate people, and he was platformed by Diane Sawyer.
Dude, we have a sitting member of Congress. I spoke to the Speaker of the House about this today. We have a sitting member of Congress from Florida called Randy Fine, who was literally texted or put on Twitter, we should kill them all. Every single one. Someone texted a picture of a dead baby, and he laughs at it. And it's like, this guy's a lawmaker who's appropriating money to a military committing genocide, and that's cool? It's not cool.
No.
And let's just be honest. That is much worse than anything Nick Fuentes has said, period.
And they clapped, Michael.
Well, this is the white nationalist, white supremacist party that we're looking at that's trying to preserve genetic white survival. There's a fear of the browning of America, as you've talked about in your book, White Fear. And the mask has been pulled off of these white supremacist, white nationalists. So about 10 years ago, the views of Nick Fuentes would have been denounced by those in the Republican Party, by leadership in the Republican Party, things like that 10, 12 years ago or so. They would have been looked at as fringe ideology.
The John Birch Society, the John Birch Society of the 1960s, yeah.
Yeah. Today is more mainstream ideology in the Republican Party, so much so that Kevin Roberts, president of the Heritage Foundation, which is the same organization that put out Project 2025, is defending Tucker Carlson, platforming Nick Fuentes, interviewing him. And let's remember, Nick Fuentes is the same guy that went meet with Donald Trump in the first term with Kanye West.
Yeah, had dinner at Mar-a-Lago with had lunch with Kanye and Trump at Mar-a-Lago. Yep, go ahead.
Yep. So this is who these people are. We need to pay close attention, because Nick Fuentes, I think, even though his movement, the Gropers, I think it was called, they didn't think Charlie Kirk, they thought Charlie Kirk was a fraud and didn't think he was harsh enough, things like that.
Yeah, Charlie Kirk was their competition.
Charlie Kirk was their competition, but I think Nick Fuentes is trying to move into that lane.
Well, hold up. This is the New York Times right here. Nick Fuentes was Charlie Kirk's bitter enemy. Now he's becoming his successor, and they got this, like, really cool photo, like this earthy photo of him. That's what you're dealing with. Matt, these are racists. And the Republican Party is saying, yo, we down with the racists as long as they turn out votes on our side.
full stop. And they're racist actors, because I guarantee you Nick Fuentes ain't going down the street telling any brother that he needs to be locked up. I mean, it's keyboard warrior, right? He's sitting behind a microphone. He's probably getting a little kickback, like Candace was saying. It's all about money for him. But, you know, these are the people who give voice to all of the neighbors that live on our street who have these same racist views, who will never say it out in public, but they're at home, you know, running up his views on YouTube because this is what they really think. And I think the Republican Party brazenly saying we're bringing these people into the fold is not only disgusting, but you know what you see a lot with these people is they always try to find a way to one-off it and sanitize it and make it not what it is, right? I mean, even Megyn Kelly talking about Dahmer having been platformed. I never saw that Nick Fuentes ate somebody. I mean, that's part and parcel with the kind of thing that you see where they're like, well, you know, he probably shouldn't say that, but maybe he's really not that bad. No, he's a flaming racist. And, you know, I think it's acting. I think it's bad acting. But I also think that there's a power void now that Charlie Kirk is gone, and he's trying to fill that void because he's an actor. But I guarantee you he ain't saying none of this on the street.
It's a whole lot going on, and what people are calling for right now is the opposition. They're calling on people to fight back. They're calling on people to stand up and challenge the other side, not give in, not bend, not buckle. That's what they're doing. And what is required here is for fighters to stand up, to emerge. That's what's required.
Hello, I'm Isaac Hayes III, founder and CEO of Fanbase, and I'm here with a very important message. We are at a turning point in the Black community where we must have equity in the apps we use that scale to billions of dollars. But this time, we own the infrastructure, we own the culture, and we shape the future. And Fanbase is the future. Fanbase combines the free functionality of Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube into an all-in-one platform built for the evolution of social media and monetization. With over 1.4 million users, that's real proof that we are shifting the conversation of tech ownership and equity for creators. So right now, I want you to go to startengine.com/fanbase and invest today. The minimum to invest is $399. That gets you 60 shares of stock in Fanbase at $665 a share. This marks a turning point in Black ownership of social media. If we don't take this opportunity to own social media right now, we will always be customers to our own creations. And that can't go on. So once again, go to startengine.com/fanbase and invest today. We must own the platforms where our voices live, our stories matter, and where our culture drives the world. Thank you.